we doing, guys? Welcome. I am back at my house in my podcast studio. I've been on the road promoting Honestly Cavallari. I was in New York and then I was in LA. I was gone for 9 days total, which is the longest I've been gone in a while. And now I'm home, and actually my kids have been in Australia, so I don't have them for 2 weeks. And I've been home for the last few days by myself, and it's been so weird. It was really nice for like 24 hours getting home, having a really quiet house, not having to worry about, feeding other humans, like just being able to eat whatever I wanted to eat and just unpack, do laundry, go to the grocery store, like just get acclimated without having to worry about anybody else. And that was really nice. And now I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do with myself. I have all this time, and I don't know, it's weird. It's been good because I've been really relaxing. I've been doing a lot of nothing, which I never get to do. So that's been really nice. But I'm also like, I'm getting like a little stir crazy. I don't know. But it's good for me because this doesn't happen often. So it's been kind of nice. And then I'm going to Austin with 3 girlfriends in a couple days here. By the time you hear this, I will just be getting home. And I'm really excited for that. I've had this group of girlfriends for about 20 years. And instead of going to like Mexico or, going somewhere amazing, the last couple of trips that we've gone on, we've decided we just want to keep it really chill, stay local, meaning in the US, and go to places that we would maybe not normally go to. So a couple years ago, we went and stayed on a lake house, this beautiful lake house in Idaho. And that was amazing, like one of the better trips that we've had. And so we're going to go stay on a lake house in Austin. And I think lake life is the life for us now. We're lake girls and we love it. So I'm really excited for that. So anyways, that's what I'm up to right now. And today we are going to be talking about episode 4 of Honestly Cavallari, little recap. And I just watched it again, actually, just to make sure it was fresh in my mind. You know what's so interesting about doing a reality show, and one of the harder things about doing a reality show, I would say, is that when it airs, you have to sort of relive, well, not sort of, you have to relive what you went through months prior. So in this episode, I don't know, even just... well, maybe not so much this episode, but just overall, like the last couple episodes, the Talon, the Johnny of it all, and everyone in my life being like, have you talked to Johnny? Have you talked? And it's just like, oh my God, like I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like I haven't, I dealt with this in March, which I guess isn't that long ago, but still, that's just the hardest part. And then in this episode, Justin and I kind of get into it at dinner, which I'm really excited to talk about here with you guys. But even that is like, I don't even want to live that out again. Like it was a dinner and we all moved on after it. And now I have to, talk about it. And I've been doing a lot of interviews, obviously promoting the show. And that was a question. I did an interview today, actually. And that was one of the questions was, what is the hardest part about doing a reality show? And I said that. I was like, I think just having to, live it out again is not hard, but I'd say the most annoying part. Anyways, okay, so so this episode is about, it's with Camille Kostick, and it's this WAG episode in Boston. It starts with us still being in Chicago, but the show episode, it's hard for me to think like TV show, podcast show. I don't know. It's just like, it's a jumbled in my mind, like how I speak about all of these things. And I have referenced the show. I've called it Very Cavallari 1,000 times because I can't keep them all straight in my head. Honestly Cavallari though. So the overall consensus of this episode is, okay, so the WAGs episode for the podcast tour is not something that I would have done if there wasn't a TV show. I said it before, and I do want to be careful about how I say this stuff because this show is very real. It's as real as you can get with a reality show, I would say. And the only thing, and I've told you guys before on the podcast, that in the very beginning when I decided to do this show, there's a production company and the network, and there's a lot of people now involved. And I think at first everyone was really excited about the potential of guests and who we could get. And I don't know who came up with this idea of WAG. And it's just not something that I ever would have been like, oh, I want to do a WAG show, because of my own feelings of the word WAG, which we do touch on the show, and we'll get to it today. But I would have had Camille come out as Camille Caustic, period, end of story, that's it. Maybe, obviously, I probably would have asked her about Rob, and I probably would have had a question about the WAG world, but that would have been it. So what happened was I had Camille, and I had another WAG actually as well, who pulled out last minute for a family emergency. And when I say last minute, like, I was already on the road when she pulled out. So because I was already on the road and I was in the middle of shows, I didn't have the capacity, the mental capacity, to then completely redo my show as far as interview goes. Like, my interviews had been locked in. I'm on the road. I'm busy. I don't even have fucking time. I don't even have an hour where I could sit down and redo my interview questions for Camille. So I committed to the bit. I was like, okay, it's a WAGs episode. This is what we're doing. Because yeah, the WAG thing made sense when there was multiple WAGs. But then when it was just Camille, I probably should have gone back. For me, I think the podcast episode is actually really great. I think Camille was phenomenal, and I do think it's an interesting world. Everything I said on the show is true. I just think for me personally, that's not the conversation that I would have wanted to have. So that's just where I'm coming from, because I get off stage and I'm like, I couldn't click in. I couldn't lock in. And it's because it wasn't what I would have really wanted to do. And I am the kind of person, you guys, if something is not, like, if I'm not 100% behind something, I feel it in my body. It eats me alive. And you can tell in the show, because it was a great show. Camille was fucking amazing. And actually at this show, which it got cut from the TV show and it didn't make it into the podcast episode, but we had this little mini dating show game where Justin got these 3 guys, and I was like, I couldn't see them. It was like a blind date sort of a thing. And I was asking these guys questions, and then I picked one at the end of it to go on a date with, which I never ended up going on a date, but that was really funny and it was really fun to do. And so the show was really fun, but I think because I just wasn't 100% on board with this idea of WAGs, it just ate at me, which that's just how I am. So with all that to say, though, Camille was so fucking great. And the podcast episode is one of my favorites. Camille gives such great advice. She's such an inspiration. And I just think every woman should listen to her interview, because it really is so great. Okay, guys, I want to take a minute and talk to you about Element. Element is a 0 sugar electrolyte drink mix and now sparkling electrolyte drink born from the growing body of research revealing that optimal health outcomes occur at sodium levels 2 to 3 times government recommendations. Each serving delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes. You guys know I love Element so much. I have been using them for years. I work out consistently. I go in the sauna, even traveling. I always have electrolytes with me, and they have a new summer flavor, which is lemonade salt. It tastes exactly like lemonade. It is so good. It is great for all of the summer activities like hiking, beach days, and workouts, like I just said, since all of that stuff can definitely drain your electrolytes. Another thing too, you guys, you can mix it with water, and you can add it to your iced tea for a salty Arnold Palmer. Or just get creative with a pitcher of salty lemonade and fresh fruit. And right now, Element is offering a free 8-count sample pack of their most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase. This is a great way to find your favorite Element flavor or share with a friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/honest. This deal is only available through my link, so you must go to drinklmnt.com/honest. drinkelement.com/honest. Okay, guys, you know I love Nutrafol, so I always get really excited to talk to you about them. If you are not familiar with Nutrafol, where have you been? Hot days, humid nights, and nonstop plans. All that heat this summer can increase hair shedding, while a packed schedule can add stress, which can also impact your hair. Nutrafol's whole body approach and clinically tested formulas support your hair from within so you can focus on living your best life all summer long. You may have heard of Nutrafol's hair growth supplements and wondered, do they actually work? And it's a fair question. Many hair supplements overpromise and underdeliver, but Nutrafol is different. As the number one dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, it's trusted by over 1.5 million people and is clinically tested to deliver real results in just 3 to 6 months. I've been taking them for over a year, you guys, and my hair is finally back to a really great, healthy place. I actually just cut a couple inches off of it, which I've not been able to do because I've been on this journey of just trying to grow it all out. And finally, now I am back to just cutting off length. So thank you, Nutrafol. And this summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code HONEST. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com. That's spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code HONEST. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code HONEST. I've told you guys a million times, I did not want to love Skims, but I really do love Skims. So we're going to talk about them. And I'm so excited because, guys, push-up bras are back, baby, and they are better than ever. And guys, other push-up bras are bulky and heavy, but the one from Skims just lifts and supports me while being super lightweight and still really, really comfortable. I can't say enough good stuff about it. I don't know why I just kind of discovered a push-up bra, but it's a game changer when it comes to certain outfits. And whenever I wear the Skims Ultimate Teardrop push-up bra, I know I'm going to be feeling extra confident. I feel like the old push-up bras used to just have a ton of padding and they would give sort of that like unnatural lift. But this bra is your actual boobs, just better. I'm completely obsessed. You guys will be too. So shop the Skims Ultimate Bra Collection and more at skims.com. And guys, after you place your order, be sure to let them know that I sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Let's Be Honest in the show drop-down menu that follows. But let's back up. Let's start with the show. And we're in Chicago. And so I just want everyone to remember when they're watching this show. So Chicago was 2 days. I was in Chicago for 2 days, okay? And they made 3 episodes out of it because that's how much shit happened in 2 days. So I just want everyone to remember the 2 podcast shows happened back to back, okay? And then that night they had us go to a bar. None of that made it on the show. And then the next day, which is where they pick up, well, the next day was the IVs, which you saw in last week's episode. And then this episode picks up with Beegs and I going to my Uncommon James store in Chicago. And it seems like it's a whole new day and and it's a whole new episode. It's been a week since you guys have seen the last episode. This was right after IVs. I just want to put that in everyone's back pocket so that you know mentally with where I'm at today, because I was exhausted. I haven't slept the 2 nights prior. Obviously, the night before was an emotional beating back to back, mostly with Johnny. And, this morning I was crying at IVs, actually in this sweatsuit. And now, okay, it's like change, go to the Uncommon James store, like nothing has happened. And so Beegs and I we go to the store, and they have me on the show saying that I want to clear up that Uncommon James was solely funded by me and that I haven't gotten a penny from my ex. Those interview days are 8 hours long. I'm sitting in a chair like this for the entire day with someone peppering me with questions. And then what they do obviously in the edit is they'll like piece them together. And I do say at one point in this episode, I'm just so sick of talking about my marriage, because I did say that in the interview chair because they were asking me questions about my marriage and my ex-husband and everything. And I'm like, I just don't want to talk about it anymore, because I think one of the biggest misconceptions about me, or maybe it's not even a misconception, maybe it's just like some of the online bullshit, but you guys have to understand, every single interview I do, I get asked about my ex-husband. Every single interview, even if we say, because we do say, before you do an interview, sometimes my publicist will say, hey, the only thing that's off limits is X, Y, and Z. The only thing we, for the most part, will ever say and have said for 5 years, you guys, is I'm not talking about my ex-husband. We say it all the time. But a lot of times people will still ask me. And it's like one of those situations where I feel like I can't fucking win because I try so hard to never talk about him. That is a deal breaker for me. And if I say one tiny little thing, then everyone goes, she never shuts the fuck up about her ex-husband. Oh, she's still talking about it. It's like, and I see that actually with a lot of other celebrities too. I saw, cause sometimes I'm curious, like it's TikTok mostly. If I see an interview with a celebrity, I will sometimes go into the comments to see if it's a similar message, I guess, of what people say. So I saw one with Miley Cyrus. I guess she had commented on her ex-marriage, and it was similar. Everyone going, she doesn't shut up about him. Like, it's the same shit that people say about me. So it actually kind of made me feel better. But you guys have to understand, and I don't think it's actually anyone listening to this podcast. I can almost guarantee it. I'm sure there's a couple people that hate listen, but it's mostly these like online people who see a clip here, a clip there, read one little interview, quote or whatever it is. But people get asked the same questions over and over and over and over. And I've been divorced for over 5 years and people still ask me about it. And it's like, I can't win, but it is also part of my story. So if periodically I do say one little thing, well, because it's part of my journey. I mean, I don't know. That's just one of those situations that is frustrating. But anyways, all that to say is in the interview chair, I did say, I am so sick of talking about my marriage because it's like, I don't actually want to talk about my marriage on my new show. Like, let's all move on. But why it's important for me to say I've never gotten a penny from my ex-husband is because I am really proud of everything I have built in my life and everything I am currently doing with my own money. I don't get a penny from my ex-husband. I never have through my divorce. And I think that is important. It's important for me to clear up because that's why I work so hard, is because I'm supporting 3 children. I have my kids most of the time. And there's another part in this episode where it's at dinner actually, where the edit is a little wonky because I say, I got my kids full time. And then it's like, so I only have every other weekend. So let me just clear this up. I did have my kids full time for a while. And now I have them except for every other weekend. I'm not going to get into the reasoning, the legality around it, but I thought that was like a weird, I just don't think it just wasn't explained very well on the show. But I'm proud of the fact that Uncommon James has been solely funded by me. Not only did I not take any money from my ex-husband, I haven't taken a penny from anyone else. I'm 100% owner. And I don't know, that is important to me because people love to discredit that Uncommon James or anything in my life is only successful because of my ex-husband, because my ex-husband had money. And everyone thinks that my ex-husband like gave me money. I didn't get any money. I haven't gotten any money. I didn't get any money in the divorce. I don't get anything for child support never. That was never even on the table. To be quite honest with you, I've never even wanted it. So that's why it was important to me to clear that up on the show. Okay, so then we go into this dinner scene and it's Justin and I, my best friend Beegs, who she was on Very Cavallari. She came on the podcast before. And then my friend Shar from LA. So it's the 4 of us. These are 3 of my very best friends who I've been friends with for 20 years, all 3 of them. And, I talk about, I'm talking about how dating is kind of tough for me and how my life is planned out 2 months in advance because for a while there it was. Currently, it's actually not. This is the first time in a long time that my schedule has been kind of clear. It's kind of set through July, but after that, I'm really not planning anything. But when I filmed this in March, my schedule for the next 2 months was completely planned out. And it's because since I only have every other weekend, because when I have my kids, I do not go out of town. I do not I'm home with my kids. And so I'm saying how really I only have every other weekend to date, which is kind of true. Like if someone was in Nashville, of course I could go to dinner, but I typically don't date people in Nashville, which is kind of hard. And I don't love getting a babysitter, to be honest with you, to go to dinner. And it really, maybe it's more of a selfish thing than anything, but I would rather just be home with my kids, but I'd rather also just be in bed still by like 9:30 and just be in the routine. Like I'm such a homebody. I love being in the routine. And so I don't know, maybe I use it as an excuse, but it is what it is. And I was saying the reason why my schedule is planned out 2 months in advance is because when I don't have my kids, that's when I will go to LA for an Uncommon James photo shoot, or I went to Stagecoach, or I got my boobs redone. Like I always have things going on when I don't have my kids. So that's really where I was coming from about that. Here's another challenging part about doing a reality show is, these are 30-minute episodes, but when you take the ads out of them, they're really only about 20 minutes. And so even we can use this dinner as a really good example. We were at dinner for 2.5 hours, and that whole dinner has to be edited down into a minute and a half. I mean, it's a very quick dinner as far as the show goes. So capturing the full essence of a conversation is quite difficult, I would say. If the show was an hour long, maybe the dinner scene could have been 5 minutes. I don't know. But what's hard for me is having lived this dinner and lived this conversation and then seeing it edited down to what it's edited down to is frustrating, because to me, it seems like it just escalates so quickly. And I don't know. It's like, to me, it's just like a lot of jumping around. This conversation in the middle of it really made sense to me. And the emotions are very real, because here's what happened is, also I wasn't drinking and everyone else was, which I'm sorry, that plays a role. I was sober. I was tired. Not only was I just physically tired, but obviously I'm emotionally drained because the night before was the Johnny thing and the Talon thing. And I haven't had a minute to sit with it and really process it. And by the way, I didn't fully understand why I was so upset until I got home a week later and had a minute to myself, because I did not have a minute on the road. And so I'm just still really emotional about it. So anyways, we're talking about me dating, and it cuts to me in an interview talking about how, a lot of my friends always ask me about dating and how I'm worth more than that. I'm not talking about these 3 friends, okay? I would talk about dating all fucking day with Justin, Biggs, and Shar. These are the people I talk to about it with the most. And I'm talking about more friends, but not my best friends. Friends that I see once in a while, where if I haven't seen someone in a while and they're like, so who are you dating? And I'm like, oh, okay. Hi. Good to see you too. Like I'm literally not referencing my best friends at all. And only a single adult woman would understand what I mean by that. All right, let's take a second to talk about Sono Bello. If you start tomorrow, how many months of hard dieting and boot camp workouts till you're quote unquote bathing suit ready? 6, 8, 10 weeks? Well, why, when you can be in swimsuit shape after one visit to Sono Bello? Do not let another summer go by where you're covering up at the beach or avoiding pictures in a bathing suit, all because you don't feel great about your body. Sono Bello is here to get you summer ready in one visit. We all want good summer vibes all season long, and that means feeling and looking amazing everywhere you go. That means the beach, the pool, or just relaxing on a slow Sunday. But for a lot of us, there isn't time for long workouts and diets. And the timing is great because Sono Bello's summer savings event is on. So do this for you and save a bundle during Sono Bello's summer savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/honest. That's sonobello.com/honest. Okay, let's talk about O Positive. O Positive is a women's health company. They offer a range of symptom targeting supplements that support women at every stage of life, from their first period well beyond their last. And they are proud to have the best selling women's health products at Target and on Amazon. Urovaginal Probiotics is one of the top 5 supplements on Amazon, and they have multiple number one products in Target for intimate care, PMS, and menopause categories. So, what's so special about O Positive's products? Well, they create real, tangible results with ingredients that are backed by clinical studies and shaped by board certified doctors. O Positive is committed to breaking down stigmas and addressing issues that many women experience, everything from hormone health to vaginal health to menopause and so much more. Euro is a probiotic blend specifically formulated to support vaginal health, balance healthy vaginal pH, support healthy vaginal smell, maintain healthy vaginal flora. Urovaginal Probiotic is a blend of 4 powerful strains of lactobacillus probiotics backed by research showing these strains support healthy vaginal odor, vaginal pH, and flora. In addition, Euro contains prebiotics that increase effectiveness of the probiotics. Take proactive care of your health and head to opositive.com/honest or enter honest at checkout for 25% off your first purchase. That's opositiv.com/honest for 25% off. Okay, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this supplement because it supports your health at the foundation by encouraging cellular renewal. MitoPure is a precise dose of the rare postbiotic urolithin A. So it works by promoting an essential cellular cleanup process that clears out dysfunctional mitochondria, aka your cell's battery packs. MitoPure is the only urolithin A supplement on the market that's clinically proven to target the effects of age-related cellular decline. With regular use, you'll see and feel the difference in the form of improved energy levels, better workouts, faster recovery, more endurance, plus so much more. Also, this is really cool. MitoPure is shown to deliver double-digit increases in muscle strength and endurance without a change in exercise. Yes, you heard that right. So this is your year to be your best, most energized, most revitalized you. MitoPure promotes cellular renewal and mitochondrial health to address common signs of aging at the root. Cellular health is the foundation of well-being and longevity. MitoPure recharges your cells, supporting any goals by helping all of your systems work better. MitoPure is the research-backed innovation that unlocks your fullest potential. Awaken the strength, power, and resilience already in you with the first and only supplement clinically proven to rejuvenate health at the cellular level. Timeline is offering 10% off your order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/honest. That's TIMELINE.com/honest. Biggs and I did a whole podcast episode about what it's like to be single in your late 30s as a woman, because unless you've been there, you don't understand it. And Biggs is so great because she didn't meet her now husband until her late 30s. And she was, one of the last ones to be single. And I was always empathetic to it, but I didn't understand it in the way that I do now. And her and I have really bonded over what it's like to be a single woman in your late 30s and how the number one question people want to ask you is, so who are you dating? And it's like, oh my God, it's like the only thing people ever want to ask me. And that is annoying. And I do think there's aspects to it where, some of the women I'm thinking of specifically, like they're excited to know, like it's fun because I have had really good dating stories and I've gone out with like interesting people. So I totally get that part of it too. But I just think when it's like your very first question to me and I haven't seen you in 2 months, it's like a little jarring. But as a single woman who has been in the dating world for over 5 years now, throwing the word easy my way is quite honestly the worst word to throw any single person's way. And that is a bit of a trigger for, not a trigger, but it you know what it is? I think for me in this dinner, Justin saying that it's so easy is throwing me, because I've had this conversation with Justin 5,000 times. And this is the only time he's ever worded it like this. So I'm actually a little confused and not really understanding why he's saying what he's saying the way he is, because every other time that we've talked about it, it's not this. And I think that's more why I'm kind of defensive at dinner, because in my head, I'm like, you and I usually always see eye to eye on this. So why are you battling me on it right now? That was the piece I didn't understand. And I honestly kind of still don't. I think, well, we've talked about it, but I think and he has said, and what we've both have said, we were saying the same thing. It was coming out wrong on his end. And again, using words like easy and like, to me, it felt like he was basically saying like, what's the issue? Like, this shouldn't be an issue. Where I'm like, Justin, you've been there every step of the way with me. Like, you've seen every guy I've dated. Like, you know what the problems are. And I don't know. I was just, I was confused by the whole thing. But Justin really always does have my best intentions. And we're both so aligned on my dating history and where I'm at in dating that's why it just was like, I'm so confused as to what's happening right now. And we talked about it after we left in the car together from dinner, and there were no cameras, and we had a great conversation about it. And then the next morning texted again, and I say it on the show, but again, because I know how he thinks and feels, and it just wasn't coming out right at dinner. And so I don't think differently of him. I'm not like, I didn't take that personally. It was more just, I was confused because we've never had an issue like that speaking about my dating life, history, whatever. So now we're off to Boston, and we traveled. This was Monday during this week. We traveled to Boston and we filmed on the way to Boston. But then once we got to Boston, they actually let us have that night off. This was the real only night that I had off. While we're like, Sundays are my only day off in Chicago. I was filming a TV show, so I wouldn't consider that to be a day off. So Monday night was the only real time I had off without any cameras. And Justin and I went to a sauna place and sweat our asses off and went in a cold plunge. And that actually was so incredible. I needed that so bad. I got a good night's sleep. I went to bed early, had a good dinner, and that was what then made me feel re-energized. Like, now I could take on the second half of the tour. So I was so thankful for the crew for giving me that night off. I think everyone just kind of knew, like, it doesn't do anyone any good to just keep powering through and filming. So Justin and I, we just needed that so bad. So then the next day we get to Boston, or get to the theater. The Wilbur Theater in Boston was my absolute favorite theater that I had been to on the whole tour. It was just, I don't know, it was like warm and cozy because there were multiple levels of audience of people, and it just felt really inviting and cozy. I don't know how else to describe it. And also the audience in Boston, both nights, were just incredible. Super energetic. They were having fun. And Camille came out, who I really do. I absolutely adore her. She's so fun. And I was laughing so hard because when we play the drinking game, Camille had ginger shots because she doesn't drink alcohol. And she calls me out for doing water shots. And I 1,000% had water shots at this show because I had a show the next day. I couldn't drink. I think at this point I stopped really drinking. Like in Chicago, I did a real shot with my mom actually on stage, which they didn't show that, which is kind of a bummer. And then I had I can't be taking shots. I've told you guys 500 times. But she called me out and I was like, "No, Camille, it's not water. Like, shut up." And then at one point, one of the questions that I get asked was, name the athletes that you're talking to or something. And I say I can't because I'm talking to two. And then it cuts back to me with the kids and how I'm saying that when I get done with the tour, I'm probably going to go to Scottsdale to go meet this athlete that I've been talking to. And I never went, actually. What happened was, so I got back on Raya a couple weeks before the tour, and I connected with a couple of these athletes. One of them is this guy that I thought I was going to go see in Scottsdale. And actually what happened on tour was, after the Talon and the Johnny thing, I had a really hard look in the mirror and I was just like, why am I entertaining guys that I know are not my future? And I was just like, I need to get really serious about who I'm letting into my life and who I'm making time for. And I also was like, I can't get on another plane and go to fucking Scottsdale also after this tour. And I just knew this guy wasn't my forever. So I actually just stopped responding. I stopped responding to him on tour. I'm not proud of it. I'm never proud of ghosting. I think I talked about this last week, but that's what I did. So I never ended up going to Scottsdale. And then the other athlete that I started talking to on Raya, I actually had met years prior, probably, I don't know, 12, 15, no, probably close to 15 years prior. And we reconnected, and I would actually consider him a friend. So that's kind of where I'm at. I never, since I've been back on Raya this year, I have not gone on a date, actually. I haven't been on a date this year, which I've said in every interview. And everyone's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, everyone thinks I have this like crazy love life, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. But anyways, okay, so then we do audience questions in Boston, and someone says truth or dare. I picked dare, and she wanted me to call Steven or Spencer. We picked Spencer. I didn't realize I don't even have Spencer's phone number, which I thought was kind of funny. So I call Heidi, and it immediately goes to voicemail, and then I called Talon, who also went to voicemail. What they don't show you is Heidi called me right back. We talked to Heidi on FaceTime. Talon called me right back. We also talked to Talon. Like, these people called me back. The audience got to talk to both of them. And then Camille also came out with Gronk, which was awesome. But I don't know. I just laugh at stuff like that. Like the drama for the show, you know, no one's picking up my calls. But, you know, you got to have a little drama for these TV shows. Got to set the stakes. Got to have some suspense. So anyways, that was the 4th episode of Honestly Cavallari. And a good one at that. You know, listen, I will say, guys, I think as far as a network goes, it was a risk, I think, doing a show about my podcast tour, because in my head, pre-tour, I didn't expect all of this shit to happen. I didn't expect Justin and I to get in a little lover's quarrel. I didn't expect, obviously, Johnny to come at me or to Talon to be a drunk mess. Like, I did not expect any of this stuff, you know? And I kind of thought maybe the show would be kind of boring. But I'll tell you, while this stuff was hard to deal with on tour, it has made for a good show. The show is quick. The show is fast. There is drama. There is stakes. There is like holy shit moments. And so it was worth it in that sense. Like, I can definitely look at my own personal life from a producer's lens and be like, well, it made for a good show. So I'm like, yeah, it was worth it, you know? So it's all good. And then, so next week is actually, no, sorry. When you're seeing this, tomorrow will be the last 2 episodes. So not only is it Austin and Craig tomorrow, which is my personal favorite TV episode, it's also Nikki and Brie Garcia, aka the Bella Twins, which is also another great episode. It's in New York. It's the last one. You know, I'm so jacked up about that. And that's it. So those are the last 2 episodes. So it's been a quick stint here on E, but it's been a fun one at that. And then next week for the podcast, I'll do a wrap up of those 2 episodes. So I will see you guys then for that. As always, thank you for listening, and I love y'all.